Hey guys, Steve Watch here with Beeman Toyota in Nashville, right? So chances are if you're watching this, you probably have heard about this and you might only have one key to your new Toyota. A lot of people have asked the question, when am I getting my second key? So what kind of a quick synopsis of what happened. So obviously Toyota's had a chip issue and they had issues getting keys due to the chip shortage. So what they did is they gave you the key fob and then they gave you the slide key, which is the key that goes into the door as your second key with a promise for a second fob. All right, so now there has been new information released. I did a video not too long ago that told you there was going to be 7 phases of keys that were going to come out, right? We're into the second phase now, so actually coming into the third, but we should be working on the second phase now. So here's the timeline for your key. All right, so depending on what you have now, it depends on when your vehicle is manufactured. So if you look down in your door well, you're going to be able to see it'll have like your VIN and there's a barcode on there and that. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. So if you look in the corner of that, you'll usually have at least a month and a year. And what that'll do is that will actually give you the production date. So that is going to be very important when it comes to when you're going to get your key. So obviously the ones that were produced earlier will get their keys first, but it is also vehicle specific. So I have a chart that I'm going to go over with you guys on which phase is going to be when and who's going to get what when it comes to your key, but I have your information. All right, so I know it was a little long-winded to get there. Appreciate you keeping up with me. All right, so you have 7 phases. So phase 1 was completed by June of 23. Phase 2, we just passed the end of August, so that's completed by the end of August. Phase 3 is going to be through October of 2023. Phase 4 is December of 2023. And then phase 5 is first quarter of 24. Phase 6 is also first quarter of 24, but probably later in first quarter. And then phase 7 at the end is second quarter of 2024. Everybody should have their key by that time. So now when's yours? All right, so it kind of depends, like I said, on a few factors, right? So if you have a Mirai, all right, so if you have a 22, 23 model year Mirai that with the starting production of 11 of 22, and you should already have your second key. Let's put it that way. It's part of phase 1. All right, so none of these were produced prior to October. So I do want to throw something else out there too. There's some people like, well, I got a car and it only had one key, and you bought a used car and it only had one key, and you know, maybe a dealership had offered you a second key or something like that. This is separate. This is only on new cars that Toyota delivered with one key. All right, so it's got to be very specific on that. All right, so now the 23 model year RAV4 and RAV4 hybrid produced between the end of October of 22 and January 9th of 23. Those should all be done. I'm going to tell you all the ones that should be done. So 22 Prius produced prior to December of 22. Prius Prime produced prior to 11/24 of 22. The 23 4Runner that was produced prior to 12/28 of 22, and the CHR that was produced prior to 12/28 of 22. Those should all be done. All right, so like I said, we're going into production. So the rest of these, they kind of have stages that some of them will get it, and you're going to go all the way through phase 7. All right, so here's where you're at. So if you have a RAV4 Prime, so the issue started with the RAV4 Prime starting 11/4 of 22. So the closer you are to that for your production date, the quicker you'll get it. But it shows through, you know, October, November, December. Actually, it doesn't say October, it shows November, December. You should already have your key. Then if it was built in January, February, you're going to be part of phase 3. If it was in March or April, you'll be part of phase 4. If it was May or June, you'll be part of phase 5. And then if it was July or August, you'll be part of phase 6. And if it was September, you'll be part of phase 7. That's 23, right? So we're talking current month. That's, you know, what, as I'm making this, right? So all these are going to be very similar. So if we go through, so the same thing that I just said would be true on the Venza and the 23 Prius. The Venza and the 23 Prius, and also the BZ4X. All right, so that's all going to be in with that same thing I just said. So if it's, you know, through December, you should already have your key. January, February, part of phase 3 by October. March, April, you're part of phase 4 by December. And then your May, June, you'd have it by phase 5, first quarter of 24. And then July, August, you have it phase 6, would be first quarter of 24. And then September, you'll be second quarter of 2024. All right, so now we're gonna get into a couple other ones, Prius Prime and Crown. Those pretty much, they started in January with the issue, but other than that, it's gonna follow the same thing that I said. All right, now here's where you get a little different. So phase 2 was August, and I know we're September now, so phase 2 was August. Phase 2 should have all the Camrys in it. So basically, if you have a Camry, your key should now be available. All right, so if you have a Camry, that should be it, or a 22 or 23 model RAV4 that was produced between 10/6 and 1/3. So it's the same dates for the Camry, between 10/6 and 1/3. And then on a 22-23 Highlander, produced between 10/7 and 1/3. All right, so all those should have it. Now the Sienna is going to be phase 3. That's October, and it's and that's if you were produced from 10/17, so from October all the way through February of 23. So October of 23 through February 23, if you have a Sienna for that, that's when you'll get your key, or that's when your key should be available. March and April should be phase 4, so December, and then May, June should be phase 5, so that's first quarter of 24. July, August will be phase 6, that's first quarter of 24, and then you have September for the last phase. All right, so next is going to be your 22 or 23 model Tundra. So produced from the 12th of October and ongoing, it said. So if it was produced from October, November, December of 22, you're going to be in phase 2, which is August, so your key should be available. And then the next two, so January, February would be phase 3. That's October for your availability. And then you should have March, April is going to be phase 4. That's December. Then you have May, June is phase 5. That's first quarter 24. And then you'll have July, August. That's phase 6. That's also first quarter of 24 for your Tundra. And then September is for the second quarter of 24. Sequoias, they are the same as the Tundra. So what I just said about the Tundra is the same about Sequoia. And then Grand Highlander, that started production at the end of June. So those would be available as part of phase 5. So first quarter of 24, if you got one of the first runs. If it was produced July or August, then you'll be in phase 6, first quarter of 24. That's the information that I have for when you will get your key. So if I said that your key should be available, you'll likely get a recall notice. All right, so you're going to get something that's in your mail. Watch for it. You should likely be able to get an email notice there. Update your information on toyota.com/owners. Make sure that your information's updated there so that they can do that. And if you have the app, make sure you get your app connectivity as well with your connected services. Reason for that is that your app will also tell you if there is a recall. So it will VIN specific tell you, hey, your key is available. So make sure that you have the app and that you have it connected. All those things are going to make sure that you get your key that is owed to you. So I would definitely suggest doing that. Anything else that I find, I will put in the description below just to make sure that you guys have the ability to get this. But those are your keys. Those are when they're coming. You might ask why I didn't show you the chart. I don't know if I'm able to, so I wanted to give you the information, but I'm not sure if I was able to show you the chart or not. So you guys definitely reach out to me if you have any questions, any concerns, anything like that. Steve Welch at Beaman Toyota. You can always reach out to me by email at buyatoyotanashville@yahoo.com. buyatoyotanashville@yahoo.com. And you guys definitely take care. We will talk to you soon. Bye.